Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. We are the Gaming Stooges.
I'm Jack.
You can call me Cloud.
And I'm Landon.
We hope you enjoyed today's discussion, and if you do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Twitch, or joining our Discord. Let's get on with the show.
It's time to talk about Pokemon again.
Oh boy,
No.
Landon doesn't want to.
Now,
I
as
refuse.
of the official, or the live of this episode, it is October 8th, which is close to the 12th anniversary of Pokemon X and Y. We're talking about Pokemon Gen 6, which include X, Y, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. This year for Spookfest, we don't have a Spookfest-centered episode for the podcast, but this might just be the spookiest podcast that Landon could take part in for him.
I'm gonna play my Game Boy instead.
So
He's doing this so he doesn't shit his pants in fear.
yes. He's doing it for the emotional support. It's his emotional support Lego Game Boy. So we're going to
I
talk about
pretend it's
Pokemon
real.
Generation 6. I already
No,
mentioned the
it's off.
games. They started, the first release was X and Y in October of 2013. That lasted until, I think, November of 2016 with the release of Sun and Moon, so about 3-year time span. X and Y are easily known as both, at least I consider them, the last classic generation, the first modern generation at the same time. You got a bunch of stuff that's like carried over from previous games, like design-wise, but then you also have a bunch of new stuff that every other game after would incorporate to some extent. You've got character customization for the first time, so you can actually customize your trainers with different outfits. You have the new Mega Evolution, which is a new, like, once per battle gimmick, which is now a thing in, like, every single generation of Pokemon. In this one, you had these Mega Evolutions tied to specific Pokemon. They had to hold a little stone. And they can go big mode. They get super strong. And
Go big mode.
Go big mode is probably more accurate for Generation 8, but we're not there yet. But they get stronger. They get a cool new design. Also introduced the Fairy type, which are a new type that were specifically to combat the ever-dominant Dragon type, and also to make Poison types and Steel types a little bit better offensively. So you've got those added together. You've got the new Kalos region, which is a massive sprawling region. X and Y also, and Generation 6 as a whole, are the last generation to have full incorporation of HM moves. So that is a little bit interesting to know. They are the first generation to incorporate I don't know how to fully explain this, but like they added Pokemon Ami is what it was called. And now every generation since has some sort of like Pokemon friendship petting mini game thing that you can like interact with them. In Generation 7, it was the same thing, but they just renamed it to Pokemon Refresh. Generation 8 has Camp. Generation 9 has Picnics. So they all starts with X and Y. There's also a lot of incorporation with like the touch screen to do like other like sub games as well as Pokemon Ami. You also had like hyper training, so you could like have your Pokemon like connect, like do stuff to like raise their stats. There was like a whole mini game. There's the player search system, I think is what it was called, the PSS. So from this generation onward, you have like a very dedicated method of connecting online no matter where in the game you are. And there's also horde battles, which are like 1v5, just a quick way to like gain experience and like train against the same Pokemon over and over. You've got sky battles, which were literally only in these games. You can have a Pokemon that can fly fight another Pokemon that can fly and nothing else. Sure.
Cool.
I
These were the
honestly forgot
games.
that sky battles were a thing.
Yep. There was now I'm only mostly going over the X and Y stuff because we're going to talk about Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire more later. There's also the incorporation of so there's stereoscopic 3D in battles because of the 3DS, but like there's full 3D throughout the entire game. There's no like pixel art 2D fused with 3D like they had in the last couple generations. Everything is fully 3D now, although there's like a cell shaded look to the character models and everything. So these are also the last games to have they're not the last games to have all Pokemon usable in one game at the time, but they are the last games to have a dedicated national Pokedex where you'd be able to not only obtain all the Pokemon, but also view all of their like Pokedex entries at the same time. This was also the generation that introduced the Pokemon Bank service, so they stopped doing a thing to like connect the Pokemon games to each other directly. You'd go through like an additional software to move stuff around, which allows you to move stuff a little bit more quickly and more be a bit more organized with that. We'll probably touch on that a little bit, but 70 72 new Pokemon were introduced in this generation, the lowest amount in any generation, because they added they started with about 28 Mega Evolutions. They would add another like dozen or so in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I don't remember the exact amount. So if you count Mega Evolutions, it's like 110 plus new like species, I guess, or forms. So yeah, let's go ahead and just get into it. That's basically everything. I mean, you have Team Flare. We'll talk about them. They're the major antagonists of these games. But I've basically gone over everything major that we need to really know before we just start diving in. So the X and Y games, I believe we all played close to launch, if not at launch. I know I played it at launch. We all played it the year it came out.
This is for starting with, I think, Fire Red and Leaf Green. I bought every main series Pokemon game on launch day. I think all the way up until Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were like the first ones that I did not get on launch. But these were the first games that I bought at midnight.
Oh wow,
so,
you got a midnight launch for those.
I went to...
I'm sorry.
I didn't even go to GameStop. I went to my local Meijer, and because they used to be 24 hours and they would sell games at midnight if you showed up for them. They didn't really have like make a big deal out of it, but they're like, yeah, sure, fuck it. If you want to buy it at midnight, we'll let you. So, yeah.
Nice. I am pretty sure I just went to my local GameStop. I don't think I had it on, I don't remember if I had it on reserve. But I definitely remember getting it launch day. I most likely did reserve this game because I've reserved games that I really wanted, mostly Pokemon games, up until like Generation 7. It was like when the Switch came out that I like kind of stopped doing that. So I want to say, yeah, that was, I got it at launch. I don't remember if I got it at midnight though. I think I just walked in as soon as I woke up and had time to go get my copy.
What about you, Landon?
I don't know. I worked at GameStop by the time this game came out.
Yeah,
so
true. So
did you?
Yeah.
In 2013?
September.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh,
this
wait.
was the year before.
I was gonna
wow.
say I thought you started at GameStop in 2014.
It was 2014. So I probably pre-ordered it. Ouch. I don't remember if the issue with this is I would have had to wait until midnight on the West Coast to get it, so I probably did not. I just got it the day of. But I definitely played this game, that's for sure.
Did you guys get X or Y?
I got X.
X.
We all got X. Triple X.
Triple X.
Oof.
Oh goodness.
That's Gaming Stooges, baby.
Yep.
Triple X. That's the tagline for this episode.
This episode is too hardcore for the youngins.
Gaming Stooges XXX edition, or version, if you will.
Or is it pornographic or straight edge? You decide.
We don't know.
Which starter did you guys all go with?
Bulbasaur.
So okay,
True.
so I should mention X and Y, and I'm gonna get into this is honestly a problem I have with the game. They heavily lean on like the previous Pokemon. You do get to choose a Kanto starter a little bit into the game, like after the first badge. So for like 90% of your playthrough, you get a Kanto starter in addition to your Kalos starters. But the Kalos starters that you start at the beginning to choose, you have Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie.
I don't know what any of those things are. Bulbasaur is my answer.
I was gonna say, wasn't this like one of the games where like you picked your starter, played through up until you got Bulbasaur, and then you never used your Kalos starter for the rest of the game? Like I don't remember you using yours.
No, I used Chespin. I had the.
Oh yeah, you double grassed.
Yeah, I double grassed because I'm a grassy boy. No, because I used that thing all the way up through because it's also a fighting type.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, the Kalos starters
look at things.
are
Hold on.
Interesting because you have there's grass fighting Chestnut, there's fire psychic Delphox, there's water dark Greninja, and they're actually supposed to be based on different archetypes in RPGs, like just regular RPGs. Yeah. You've got Chestnut your fighter, Delphox is your mage, and then Greninja's your rogue. So yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like I think the concept behind the starters is cool. Not my favorite set of starters, honestly. In fact, I would say up to this point in the series, this is easily my least favorite set of starters in the franchise.
True.
Yeah.
I picked Fennekin on my first playthrough.
I believe that my choices I'm trying to think. So cuz I have used I did 2 playthroughs like back to back pretty close together. So I'm trying to remember what my first actual playthrough was. I want to say I did go with Chespin for my first starter because I wanted to pick Blastoise for my Kanto starter.
Less good choice.
I was waiting for you to say that, something like that. I know that my more prominent file that I remember, Al went with Fennekin. My more prominent file I remember well though, I went with Froakie and then Bulbasaur for my 2 starters.
Great choice. Bad choice and great choice for that last set though.
I pretty much I knew going in what the Pokemon that we were gonna see were for like the new Pokemon, and like I'm pretty sure I went with like Talonflame both times, like when you can get them, which is the regional bird. So
to be fair,
I didn't want to overlap with fire, so I picked water grass for both of my runs and just made sure to leave fire open for Talonflame.
To be fair, Talonflame is pretty sick.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially
a good regional bird.
For a regional bird to not just be a normal flying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
fair.
Literally
almost all of them are.
The first one up to this point that was not normal flying.
Yeah.
So
it does start normal flying, but it becomes fire flying after.
Yeah. So like,
which is cool.
it kind of rewards you for sticking with it.
We might as well just keep talking about some of the new Pokemon. So there's, like I said, there's only 72, and there's also a lot of old Pokemon got like classified as Fairy type with that new additional type. So I want to hear what you guys have to say about like your thoughts on like did the Fairy type introduction influence your team building in this game? Did you go with a new Pokemon for your Fairy type? Did you pick an older Pokemon? What new Pokemon were you looking into? Because it's kind of interesting how they handled both like the old stuff that they were bringing back and the new stuff in this. And by interesting, I mean it's kind of.
I'm trying to remember my whole team, so give me a second. Go ahead.
I don't remember what my whole team was. I definitely remember Delphox was my, final first starter. I want to say I definitely picked Bulbasaur for my Kanto starter.
Perfect choice.
And I'm pretty sure I used Sylveon.
I did too.
I had an Absol on my team because, of course, as soon as I learned that you could catch Absol in the regional decks, then, yeah, of course I'm going to use it. And I don't remember what the last 2 were. Oh, I used Goomy, because Goomy was, like, a gigantic meme at the time. And then I do not remember who my last Pokemon was.
If I remember right, I think my team was something along the lines of, I had... If I'm going off of my first team, I think it was Chestnut, Talonflame, Blastoise for Mega Blastoise, Sylveon, because I know I used Sylveon. And then I think my last two were... I want to say... I know I used Doublade. I didn't want to evolve it in Aegislash because Aegislash has a weird gimmick that I wasn't really particularly like fond of like trying to try to use, because in a playthrough that's kind of weird. But I used Doublade, which is the second in the Honedge evolutionary family.
Oh yeah. I definitely used Aegislash on my team. And
then my last one, I think on my first playthrough I used Tyrantrum. I think it was. I know I used a Goodra on one of my two playthroughs, and I used a Tyrantrum on the other. I just don't remember which was which. I think it was Tyrantrum, though. Tyrantrum is the fossil. You have two new fossils in this generation, and they are Ice Rock and Dragon Rock. And they're based on like a Brachiosaurus and a T-Rex. So two very iconic dinosaurs. So that's pretty cool.
Okay, I think I remember. Maybe.
You remember?
But I think this is true. Chestnut, Venusaur, Gengar, Talonflame, Florges, or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, Florges. And maybe Lucario?
Yeah.
Or Ampharos.
They do give a gift Lucario.
I think I still liked Lucario up to this point.
Yeah.
I think after this generation, I was like, all right, too much Lucario. Let's chill out, folks.
I think I remember. Yeah, I think I remember you wanting to try out Lucario because you liked him from Generation 5, and you were like, "Oh, it gets a Mega Evolution. I'll try it out."
I liked him from Gen 4 as well because I remember I definitely used it in Gen 4 at some point. So yeah, so I think that's my team. I do remember using Mega Gengar, and I'm pretty sure I also used Ampharos because it has a Mega as well. So yeah. I think that was my team.
There are 450 Pokemon in the regional decks in these games, by the way. To this day, the largest regional decks in the entire franchise. And
is that including like the DLC like dexes from Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet?
Those are split into their own dexes. So they don't
care about that.
That's the thing, is that those dexes on their own are not large enough either.
But Kalos split its Pokedex into 3 parts. So,
but there was also a mode that had them all together, and the other games do not do that.
Well, Nintendo update those games.
And unlike
Reggie,
in the other
those games.
And unlike in the newer games can also overlap and reuse Pokemon from the main regional decks in the newer dexes, whereas in the Kalos decks they literally had all different Pokemon in each section. But in total, in total, there's 450 in the regional decks, which is cool.
I will say, the regional decks being as large as it is nice. The problem is that I feel like they're relying too heavily on older Pokemon.
Yeah, so I was thinking of long and hard about this, and this was a thing that I knew for a few years now, like since my last playthrough of the game, because I did a recent playthrough during my like Living Dex completion quest. 450 regional decks sounds really cool on paper until you realize that on nearly every route in the game, every new area you get to, the new Pokemon is like a rare encounter. So you're pretty much almost always going to find like a lot of the older Pokemon first before you find the new Pokemon that you're excited to try out. And even though there's so many Pokemon, there's a lot of areas where they're just kind of doubling down on a lot of the same archetype of Pokemon all stuffed in the same route. And it's especially bad earlier on. It gets a little better later on. But like if you go to like say Santaloon Forest is one of the first areas of the game, and it's like basically it's literally Viridian Forest and layout except in 3D. And the spawns are, you've got your Pikachu, you've got the monkeys from Generation 5, and then you've got the new bug type, Scatterbug, I believe. It evolves into Spupa and Vivian. And then you have Weedle, Caterpie, and I think Wurmple as well. They pretty much just double down on every single regional bug that you get at like the beginning of the game and just threw them all in the same area. The route before that, you had Pidgey, Fletchling, the first form of Talonflame, and then they're like one or two other of the early route regional birds all stuffed in the same spot. I think Pidove was one of them. It was either Pidove or Starly, like one of those. Like they have pretty much. And then there's also Spearow was also there too. So like they just throw a lot of the same archetype at you. And every time you want the newer Pokemon, it's like a 5, maybe an 8 or 10% encounter comparatively. It's like they're stuffing. It's like it looks like 450s a lot, and then it's like, oh, but like 5 of these are the same thing here, and 5 of these are the same thing here. It gets old when you get to like the later areas.
Counterpoint. Dunsparce and Shuckle are in the regional decks, so
can't argue with that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good regional deck.
It's hit or miss for me. Like I said, my main issue being like and later games don't have this issue. Like they highlight their newer Pokemon more, but like I've found a lot of the time if I wanted a new Pokemon, I'd have to sit in the same route for like quite a few encounters until I found that new Pokemon that I wanted. Like if I wanted to use Sylveon or Hawlucha, I had to sit on that route for quite a bit. I think there's like a couple of Pokemon that like are pretty common that are new Pokemon, like Flabébé is like a common encounter where you
very
find
common.
it.
Very common.
Like, but they're few and far between. Like most of the time you're encountering that. And that, like Jack said, this game has a heavy reliance on old Pokemon. And
I swear
not just old Pokemon, just old things from previously in the series in general.
I swear to God, the black one and white one having an entirely new regional Pokedex was I loved it, but so many people fucking hated it. And I think they went way too hard in the opposite direction with this generation.
True.
Where they have the smallest regional decks to date, to this day.
Oh, new Pokemon, yeah.
Of new Pokemon, yeah. And just rely so heavily on Pokemon from previous generations, especially Gen 1. There is so much Gen 1 nostalgia in this game.
But you know what's not in this game from Gen 1?
What? Magikarp?
No, Magikarp's in this.
I was going to say, I
they
thought
have to
so.
put Magikarp and Gyarados and everything. No. Raticate's not in this game. Persian's not in this game.
Okay.
Weezing's not in this game.
They don't have everything, but they still have a lot.
But here's
Porygon and Mew, and that's the entire list.
Here's the thing.
Oh, that's
yeah, that's the only Pokemon
from Gen 1.
Thank you.
It's
oh my god. That is
5 families are not in this game.
So not only do you have all of that, but going back to like the pandering, we'll say it's pandering. But like they give you, so they do give you like a couple of Pokemon that are like newer, at least as like gifts. Like Lucario is a gift Pokemon because you get to have its Mega Evolution. There's like a big climactic part that introduces you to it in midway through the story, partway through the story. But like a lot of the gift Pokemon is like you literally are given a Lapras at one point. You're literally blocked by a Snorlax. Like they just do Gen 1 stuff again in Kalos. It's like you have to literally get something to wake up a Snorlax to move on. The same thing you had to do in Red and Blue. Just I'm fine. It's fine. It's fine. And then they introduced Mega Evolution, right? Why Mega Evolution only used by like 3 trainers in the entire game?
Why do they lock Mega Evolution behind post game?
For like everything except for just your Kanto starter and Lucario.
Yeah, literally that's it. Like every other Mega Stone that you can get in the game is locked behind post game.
Despite
because they
them
want you to use a fucking Kanto starter.
It's like I was so pissed off when I like decided to use an Absol for my team and then realized that the Absolite isn't obtainable until after you beat the game. I'm like, what the fuck am I using him for? Also, I remember it wasn't Aegislash that I used on my team, it was Mawile.
Okay. So you got double fucked then because you want to have
I wanted to use Mega Mawile because it's like, holy shit, a Pokemon that was like kind of ass in its original generation gets a cool Mega Evolution and an insane ability, making it like actually a good Pokemon, and I can't even use it until post game.
Yep. I remember I looked up beforehand before I had played the game like what I was going to use for like a Mega Evolution, and like I was so disappointed because I was like, oh, this Mega Evolution looks pretty cool post game. This Mega Evolution looks pretty cool post game. I was like, I guess I'm just using the Kanto starter then.
Yep.
All right.
Sucks.
And it's not just the Mega Evolutions and like the Kanto pandering in like the main game, because like in the post game, so like this is like the cherry on top of, they are really trying to get you to like they're trying to like focus on like the older stuff. So this generation, not only does it introduce the least amount of new Pokemon in total, it also introduces the least amount of legendary Pokemon, because there's only 6 counting mythicals, 3 if you don't count the mythicals. And one of them is your box art legendary. So those are version exclusives. And then the other one is Zygarde, who is stuffed in a cave with no story whatsoever. I think an NPC alludes to the fact that the cave was dangerous and it was sealed off before and then it was opened up, but they don't make any mention of like a Pokemon being in there or anything. And yet, in the post game, you can get a Mewtwo, and it has an entire backstory for it, because it is escaped to this Pokemon village in order to like live a peaceful life, and you can go and catch it. And they even give it its own fucking remix of like the Kanto Wild battle theme as a legendary battle theme. Zygarde does not get such a treatment. They don't even give the new legendary proper treatment, and they give the old legendary they brought back better treatment. Like that is the epitome of, this game does not give a shit about the new stuff that it was trying to introduce. The only thing that they really gave us a good healthy amount of was the new fairy type, basically.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Kind of, yes. It is rough to get a lot of them. Like, there's Flabébé, but like a lot of the other fairy type Pokemon, like there's a version exclusive for each one, X and Y, that's like weak and kind of stupid. It's like Slurpuff or Aromatisse. But like if you want the main premier fairy type Sylveon, you have to interact with Pokemon Ami and do some like bullshit to like raise its affection, and you have to like this archaic method, this like convoluted method of like evolving it, because you have to teach it like a fairy type move and everything. It's like, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Because there's not including the legendary, because there is a legendary that is fairy type, but that is version exclusive.
2X, yeah.
Obviously. There's 7 fairy types that are new Pokemon.
Yep.
6 if you kill Sylveon, because it's an evolution, and
Yeah.
There's 2,000 of those now. Thanks. So if you like want a real new Pokemon that's just not like a new evolution of something,
it's like Florges or your respective like exclusive 2-stage line that they have.
Yeah.
You could use the key ring thing.
You could use Klefki.
Klefki.
You could use.
I mean, for what it's worth, Klefki is actually a good Pokemon.
Yeah.
People just really trashed its design when it came out.
Because it's a key ring thing.
It is kind of funny looking, but I mean, we've had funny looking Pokemon before. Is this really?
You could use Dendade.
Yeah.
Don't drop that da-da-da! Hey! The only reason I remember that Pokemon's name.
Probably the best part of Pokemon X and Y.
Yeah.
They also had like this They also had some like weirdly like spooky themed Pokemon, like for their ghost types. Like, I mean, the ghost type, they'll always have like some like spookiness to them, but like they went like full on Halloween themed for some of them, because you have Goregeist, which is like a like jack-o'-lantern spirit thing, and then you have Trevenant, which is like a which is a tree, which is a haunted tree, and it's got this. It's I don't think they're version exclusives. I think one of them's like just rare in the other version, but I could be wrong. There's like a whole like autumn themed route that's got like a haunted house there. Like Jack and I were talking about how like, despite the fact that we're not talking about Halloween or spooky stuff, somehow X and Y managed to have like a little bit of that and a couple of new Pokemon for some reason that just kind of don't fit otherwise.
Yeah,
in there.
I will say I have my issues with this generation, but I do have like a slight nostalgic connection to it, because I remember playing it a lot during the month of October in 2013 and, you know, spooky month. And I just remember kind of like, you know, hatching eggs while I was like watching horror movies and shit. So yeah, there's like a little bit of a personal connection.
So for version exclusives, not including returning Pokemon, so for new Pokemon, they're for X, and also not including the Box Art Legendary, there's 2 families for each game. Slurpuff line and the Clawitzer line for X.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then for Y, it was the
Aromatisse and Dragalge.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I had it right the first time then when I mentioned the two ghosts. I think one of them is like a little bit, it's one of the, I don't remember, there's like a term for it, but like in one game it's a little more common than the other, but like it's I can't remember what they call that. Like it'll be like it's like a higher encounter rate in one. But you can get both.
Yep.
There's a lot of other like Pokemon in the game that are introduced that are pretty cool. I mean, like I said, there was Hawlucha is a really cool new Pokemon. We talked about the fossils, but there's also some like kind of like duds that I do not care for, like Barbaracle, another fucking water rock type, and it looks kind of silly. Sure.
10 out of 10.
Yep.
10 out of 10.
Why not?
It's got 5 hands. One of them's its face.
Yeah, one of them is its face. We did talk about Klefki. Klefki's okay. Like you have Carbink, which is like not evolutionarily related, but is like lore related to Diancie, one of the mythical Pokemon. But Carbink itself is not like all that crazy. It's just kind of like it's a floating rock fairy. That's another fairy type you could use if you wanted to. It will probably do nothing besides take a hit half decently, and that's it.
As long as you have the sturdy ability on it. If you have clear body, it's probably going to just die.
I mean, it does have 150 defenses for its base stats, so it also has like no HP though. So
yeah,
I will say I like the addition of the fairy type in general. I think it is a good thing in overall for the series to have, because we really needed like an answer to dragons that wasn't ice types, because ice types are kind of ass otherwise. So to have that in the game is nice, but I just don't really care for its implementation in these games specifically.
Yeah, because like outside of Sylveon and Florges, is as far as like new Pokemon that are like solid like fairy representatives, a lot of the stuff that you're gonna find that are like good fairy types were old Pokemon again.
Yeah,
because you have Clefable as like the big standout, went from normal to fairy, and it's literally just like the quintessential fairy type that like a lot of people use and love. Gardevoir is another big one, which got fairy type added onto its psychic type. You have Togekiss was switched from normal to fairy. Like those 3 Pokemon alone are already like 3 of the more prominent fairy types that exist, and they're all old Pokemon. That's not even to talk about other older stuff that got it, like Clefable, Azumarill, and just there's more and more. We could go on all day because they changed like several dozen Pokemon to. either add fairy or change their type outright to fairy. I think it was like, I want to say it was like 20 something. It wasn't like a super high amount, but it was enough to like matter.
I'll count it.
I'm trying to think of all of them off the top of my head, but I can't remember them all.
So you said the Clefable line.
Clefable line, Wigglytuff line.
Wigglytuff, Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime. Yep. That still weirds me out to this day to know that
you said Togekiss, you said Azumarill, Granbull line.
Granbull
became full fairy.
Yep.
You said Gardevoir, Mawile.
Mawile, right.
And then Whimsicott.
Whimsicott was given fairy.
And then,
so a little less than I was thinking.
If we want to count it, Arceus.
Yeah, Arceus got a new form.
It got a new fucking slab thing, so if you want to count that, then that. But then, yeah.
Slab. I mean, I know that's literally what they are, but for some reason, just calling them slabs is really funny.
Return the slab!
Yeah, exactly.
But I do... They at least, like, gave us a fairy-type gym leader to, like, represent the new type, and it is a pretty good gym leader. The new gym leaders are... I mean, some of them are all right. Some of them are okay, but a lot of them are pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, what's her name? Valerie?
Viola? Oh, no, Valerie is the fairy type one, yeah.
Yeah. She's one of the better ones in this game, but, like, overall, I thought the gyms in this game were so easy, and that's... good transition. These games are piss easy. Like, holy shit. It's kind of ridiculous how easy these games are.
Yeah, so this is the first game, again, first modern generation, last classic generation, where you had the EXP share operate, so experience as a whole now, if you turn it on, operates in a way where all Pokemon in your party can get it. In this game, it's not scaled based on level. It's, for some reason, it's like the only generation between 5 and now that doesn't do this. But all of the Pokemon will get half the experience that the battling Pokemon would, even if they're just sitting in the party with it on. And if you turn it on, you level up really fast. The problem is if you turn it off, you have to grind a lot because the game expects you to have it turned on. But they also didn't balance it well to have it turned on. So it's either too easy or you have to spend a lot of time grinding. And it is still too easy because all the movesets for a lot of the trainers do not max out with 4 full moves. Like, there's a lot of trainers that have just 2 or 3 moves.
The final gym leader's first Pokemon has only 3 moves.
Yeah, and I was going to bring that up because literally, like, not only does the EXP share make this game fucking trivial, but for some reason they were insistent on only giving gym leaders a maximum of 3 Pokemon in this game. Like, why cap it at 3? That's so easy. In every previous generation, by the time you're at gym 6, they have at least 5. And
another thing that makes this game really easy, and this is something that thankfully more and more people are kind of realizing is a problem. So usually, and this goes for Pokemon as well, but in RPGs in general, you have a sort of like power scaling as you progress through a game. So like your arsenal tends to get more and more access to stronger and stronger stuff as you go along. And then as you go through the game, the opponents tend to scale. They'll get more and more powerful as well. They'll have access to more and more stuff. That is not what happens in this game. In this game, you hit a huge power plateau as soon as you have access to Mega Evolution, and the rest of the game stays at that level for you, and the gym leaders never catch up to that at all, because they never use Mega Evolution, except for Corona in the one battle that teaches you how Mega Evolution works, and it's not even a gym battle, it's a battle afterwards. So you have all these gym leaders. They all use a Kalos Pokemon as their last Pokemon, if they have 2 or 3 Pokemon, whatever. None of them use a Mega Evolution, and you get access to Mega Evolution 3 gyms in, are given a Mega Pokemon for free, and it's one of the best Mega Evolutions of that generation. You don't need anything else. Like, if you really didn't want to add any new Pokemon to your team, you don't need to add anything from that point, from Gym 3 to the end of the game. You already have one of the best options you're going to have. And that's like 65% of the game. Like,
plus, on top of that, you know, from that point, you do have access to so many Pokemon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so your arsenal, like, is also, like, improves in that way. So you have Mega Evolutions. You have a huge roster of Pokemon to choose from, even if you don't have Mega Evolutions for everything that has Mega Evolutions. And then, like, nothing has held items. Like, that's usually, like, where some difficulty will come in, is, like, use, like, held items with the trainers. But, like, the only held item, I think, is Diantha, because she has the Gardevoir, like, Mega Evolution.
Yeah. Her, Lysander, he has his Mega Evolution with his Gyarados, because he does, like, a fake out where, like, you think based on his design, his main Pokemon's gonna be Pyroar, but it's not, because he uses a Mega Gyarados as his main Pokemon. But
and then
that's it.
And then he and all of the Elite Four, except for the champion, have 4 Pokemon.
Yep.
So once again, you have 6 Pokemon, and you're like.
And in Generation 5, they did this too, but, like, at least they had, like, very strong Pokemon that had, like, full move sets. Like, you could fight, like, say, Chantal. Chantal only had 4 Pokemon when you first fight her, but she's got a Cofagrigus, which is a tank, and it's not going to die in one hit. And it's got stuff like Shadow Ball, Will-O-Wisp, and all this other crazy stuff. Her main Chandelure has, like, 4 different attacks, and they're, like, all super good coverage moves, because she has, like, Energy Ball, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, and it hits super hard. Like, there aren't trainers that are properly optimized for the part of the game that you're supposed to be fighting them.
Yeah, the Pokemon League in Unova is actually difficult, despite the fact that they do cap each trainer at 4 Pokemon apiece. Like, those fights are pretty challenging if you're not prepared.
And like Landon said, like, in X and Y, you also have way more options too. So, like, it worked that there was only 4 Pokemon on the Unova Elite Four, because even in Black and White 2, the regional dex was still only 300, so you still had less options, and they had better movesets and everything, like better parties to, like, go against whatever your options were. But they don't tailor the Elite Four to be able to deal with the options you have in X and Y.
Not only that, but I feel like the typing for each trainer in the Kalos Elite Four is kind of underwhelming. You have Fire, Water, Steel, and Dragon. And,
I think it's fine. But the options for the Pokemon that they use are really underwhelming.
My issue is that, like, this is the millionth generation in a row that has had a Dragon trainer in the Elite Four. Like, except for Gen 4, I guess. But, like, Cynthia still has her Garchomp, so, like, that alone might as well be an entire team. But, like, oh yeah, I guess Gen 5 didn't have a Dragon. Never mind. Forget what I'm saying. Either way, I just feel like Dragon in the Elite Four is, like, way overdone. And, like, especially in the generation where they introduce, like, the type that can deal with dragons better than any other previously.
Oh, yeah.
It just kind of trivializes the entire fight if you have a fairy type.
I mean, like I said, I don't mind the types that they chose. I think that the parties that they chose for those trainers are what is underwhelming, because, like, all of them should have a Mega Evolution. They do not. Like,
why the fuck is Barbaracle the signature Pokemon for Seabold? Exactly.
Like, he has Clawitzer, he's got Gyarados and Starmie, which are better Pokemon than his 2 new Pokemon, arguably. Yeah. And then, like, Malva, she has Talonflame is pretty good, Pyroar is okay. And then she has, for her other 2, she has Torkoal, and I don't even remember if her Torkoal even has Drought for its ability, or if it's just sitting there.
It's White Smoke.
Nope, it is White Smoke.
So it doesn't even have the ability that you would think that it would have.
Like, it would be so, like, they could make that battle, like, so much more challenging if they just have Torkoal be your opening Pokemon and give it Drought.
Yeah.
But no, White Smoke, fuck it.
And then Drasna, like, they saved the big dragon type pseudo legendary that they introduced in this game. Pure dragon type Goodra for the champion, which I get, but like, because they do that with the champions, they try to give them like a pseudo legendary or something that's as strong, but they already gave Diantha a mega evolution that is stronger than a pseudo legendary. And you mean to tell me they couldn't have just given one of the Elite Four members the pseudo legendary? No,
Yeah.
they give her Noivern, which is the only other like major dragon type that's not the fossil Tyrantrum that they added.
Diantha also has.
Which Diantha also has. So Diantha takes most of the dragons that Drasna could have had, and then they give her a bunch of underwhelming ones. Like Dragalge's good, okay, cool, fine. But Noivern has her aces, kind of whatever, and then her other two dragons are not even like particularly like really strong dragons. She has two of the more underwhelming ones. Because what is it, Altaria and
her Druddigon.
Yeah, Altaria and Druddigon.
Her entire team is like
the weakest dragons you could have asked for.
Yeah, like the weakest available options for dragon types. Like if you're gonna give her like two dragons from previous generations, why not go bigger than Druddigon? You know, like no, not to shit talk Druddigon, but it's not one of the better dragon types out
Flygon
there.
Flygon is in the game if I remember correctly,
Flygon?
because Trapinch is in the desert area. They could have given her a Flygon.
Garchomp's in this fucking game.
Yep.
I
kind of understand not wanting to do Garchomp.
That's a better
again,
dragon type.
Which one?
Polytoad.
Yeah.
They have is Kingdra in this game, or is Kingdra not in the one of the ones that's actually not in the regional decks? I don't remember.
Let me go through the coastal Pokedex.
Because I think I can't remember if 4C is one.
Let's see, Salamence is in this fucking game because
they had like every pseudo legendary.
Yeah, like I feel like the team composition for every Elite Four member is just extremely underwhelming.
They could have given her a fucking Aerodactyl. That's a dragon type, right? Lance uses it. He's totally not a flying type trainer.
Yeah.
And another thing, if they had given all of the Elite Four members Mega Evolutions, you have Mega Ampharos right there. You could get, like, that would have been an option that she could have had.
Honestly, yeah, Mega Ampharos would have been a great choice because it's like, not only is it a dragon Mega Evo, but it's also, like, a type that, like, is different than what you would expect from a dragon trainer, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's electric dragon.
But, we'll try and like steer the conversation a little bit away from the same but the point is that this game does not properly utilize all the options that it gives the player to also balance what you face around that. They just kind of throw whatever they could as like progression to have you go through, and you can just kind of like knock everything over without even thinking about it. It is underwhelming.
I feel like the entire like argument towards X and Y being far too easy is that I remember seeing like a video back in the day of just someone filming a fight, the fight against Wolfric, and they used Charizard, and it's just them literally clicking in the spot where Flamethrower is over and over and over again, and it's like, this is the 8th gym leader, you know?
Yes.
And it's just, they just win by doing that 3 times.
Was the Pokemon you asked was Haxorus in the game? Because Haxorus is in the game.
I did not, but that's another good choice that they didn't give Drasna.
Why is Drasna's team so shit? She's such a like great design for a character, but like they gave her such a shit team.
It's so like X and Y also has some moments where it's like pulling from like past stuff that's like legitimately cool, because like so it really leaves me torn. So like the route that's like right before Victory Road, you can actually like go to it before going to Victory Road because it's connected to the first gym city. So it's not quite the same, but it's similar to Viridian city and being able to go to the route that's like leading to the Pokemon League in like the first games. And you can actually get a really cool Pokemon that way. In the original games, you could get the Nidoran lines that could help you later on in the game. In this game, you can get Riolu as an option on that route, as well as the new Pokemon. It's the first evolution of Pyroar. I can't remember what its name is. Litleo. There it is. Litleo. You could get Litleo. There's a couple other cool Pokemon that are on that route. And then when you get to to Victory Road later in the game, I don't know if you guys know this, but the song that they used for the Victory Road in X and Y is actually a finished remixed version of an unused song that they had in Pokemon Yellow, that because they didn't finish it, so they left it unused in the data file. And no idea what that song was supposed to be for. It sounded like it was going to be like the Victory Road music for Pokemon Yellow, but they just never used it. Well, they touched it up. They made it, a 3DS orchestration for it, and they used that. And that's like a cool way to like reference older stuff. But like then they do all this other stupid shit with the older games, and it's like that's what really bothers me about this game more than anything, is that it doesn't know what it wants to do. It doesn't know if it wants to just pander to the older games, or if it wants to do something new and cool, or try to do both. Like it's trying to do all of them at once, and it's not doing a very good job.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest issue with X and Y. And it sucks because there was supposed to be a third pillar game, and we never ended up getting it because they had to move their attention elsewhere. Like there's and I get because you're supposed to get like an X like an X and Y like follow up, like 2 games at the same time. It was basically going to be like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon as far as like a follow up. And there's so much potential that we did not get. Like we didn't even talk about AZ. AZ is a character that gets imprisoned by Team Flare, and then he just kind of fucks off, and then he comes back at the very end of the game because, oh, hey, Floette comes back, and he literally just out of nowhere at the end of the game. Like, they couldn't have done that when you rescue him. Okay.
We also just didn't talk about Team Flare.
Yeah, Team Flare is... because they're underwhelming. Like, they're funny... They're fun in concept, but like it's basically like if you took Team Galactic's goofiness, but then you did not give them a real sense of purpose, because Lysander's like the only character that do you guys remember that there's actually admins on Team Flare? Because I always forget this.
I barely remember them, but yes, I
always
do.
They're all grunts,
this.
aren't they? I'm pretty sure they're all just grunts.
Like there's like 3 admins, and I always forget that they're even admins.
To this day, Team Flare is by far my least favorite enemy team in any Pokemon generation. They're so underwhelming, especially coming off of Team Plasma having 2 great representations in both Black 1 and Black 2, or Black 1 and White 1 and Black 1 and White 2, or Black 2, White 2. Blah, blah, blah. But Team Flare just fucking sucks. Like, their designs are bad. They're goofy, but you, like, not in a fun way, just in a, like, okay kind of way. Like, they're impossible to take seriously because their designs are awful. Lysander is, like, quite possibly the most obvious villain character in the history of villain characters of all time. Like, you're not supposed to know when you see him that he is in fact the big bad of the game. Yeah, because he's just
talking to Champion Diantha randomly in an area in Lumiose City, casually. They're having a casual conversation, and Team
was it
Flare
Diantha or was it the professor?
It was Diantha. They're talking in like a little. They're talking in like a little like bar or something.
Yeah,
and it happens to be the bar that is the hideout when like they go into a secret entrance that Lysander and Team Flare operate out of. And Team Flare is also supposed to work as like they're supposed to apparently be working for the region because Malva is part of Team Flare, and like she's an Elite Four member, and she broadcasts on like the she like broadcasts on like they have like a holocaster thing that's in there. Like, now the fact that she's part of Team Flare is like not like super obvious to the populace, but based on the design the fact that she says such.
It's kind of a shame because like having an Elite Four member be like a member of the villain team as well is like pretty
cool
sick
idea.
Actually. But the problem is that Malva is fucking wasted in this shit Elite Four and this shit team that no one cares about.
And it goes nowhere anyway. Like the fact that she's part of Team Flare like just doesn't mean anything at all.
It means absolutely nothing.
So Team Flare, so every one of the, even if like they don't have the best writing, Pokemon villain teams usually have some sort of goal. It is clear. You are like very obviously shown what they're trying to do and how it can affect the region as a whole. In Team Rocket, they're doing underground illegal activities, and you get to see the effects of that. In Ruby and Sapphire, they have Team Magma and Team Aqua. They're not the most competent, but they awaken Groudon or Kyogre. You literally see what that causes to the region when they wake up. In Team Galactic, they don't know the extent of what Cyrus is doing, but they are pretty imposing. Like the admins are all tough challenges, and they all come at very dramatic points in the story. And Cyrus has a very climactic part with the whole stretch of the game where he has captured the Lake Trio legendaries, and he's using them to create something to bind the box legendary. You've got Team Plasma. We've talked about them previously on this season. Team Flare are trying to work with Lysander to like create an ultimate weapon, and that ultimate weapon gets sabotaged by the player and their friends. We didn't even talk about the friends yet, by the way. And it does nothing. It goes up into the air, shoots right back down where it came from, and does nothing. So, like, you don't get to see the extent of what they're trying to do. So there's, like you said, Jack, we cannot take these characters seriously. Even if they're goofy, they can still be taken seriously, but they're just not.
Who is more pathetic? Team Rocket post Giovanni, or Team Flare?
Team Flare. Easily.
Like, Team Rocket, at least they hijack a radio tower. Like, they do something useful.
Yeah.
Like Team Flare, they hide out in a power plant that like nobody fucking pays attention to anyway. They're like, good job. Okay, cool.
Like, I think that Team Rocket's, like, the use of Team Rocket in Gen 2 is kind of underwhelming overall, but, like, Team Flare is way worse. Like, I remember thinking, like, after beating Lysander in the big final battle, like, after it was done, I was just like, that's it? That's the whole thing? Like, after, like, the 3 previous generations having, like, imposing villain teams with, like, a really cool story to go along with them, you have, like, this underwritten bullshit.
Yeah, but he has Dorito hair.
He does have Dorito hair. Why does he have Dorito hair?
I don't know. And another thing that, like, bothers me about Team Flare is, like they crunch the final. So like their whole goal is to utilize the box art legendary, right? And the box art legendary is supposed to be this important Pokemon. And in Ruby and Sapphire, you get to feel how important that Pokemon is. In Diamond and Pearl, you feel how important that Pokemon is. In Black and White, you feel how important that Pokemon is that the villainous team, or at least a member of it, is trying to use. The Pokemon for X and Y are literally just in a cocoon in stasis, having their power drained. They are given almost no significance outside of that until you meet them and catch them, and that is it. Like, they are supposed to be this cool new epic legendary that represents either life or death, and they're supposed to be like this, great beast over the Kalos region. And they just don't nothing matters in this game.
No. Mewtwo matters. He gets a backstory and 2 Mega Evolutions.
Which just goes back to the Gen 1 nostalgia bait. They really did not... I really just feel like X and Y is just undercooked overall.
It really is.
Speaking of undercooked,
really needed more time in the oven.
The Friends.
Yes.
Oh, so my God.
I think this is like the last major thing we really need to touch on besides like optional content like post-game and stuff. But the Friends, there are
1,500?
4? Yes, there's 4. There's 4. There's your opposite gendered rival, who is your main friend and rival character, and they'll use the starter that's strong against yours. They have the most fleshed out team. You fight them the most times. They get a mega evolution, all that jazz. You have Shauna, who's like the second one. They don't battle you as much, but they're more involved in the plot than the other 2. And then you have these goofballs, Tierno and Trevor. One of them is just a nerd that likes to talk about Pokédex entries, and the other one is a nerd that likes to dance, who is admittedly funny, but like they're so underdeveloped. And even the main rival, who's like your opposite gender, outside of they want to be a strong trainer, and that's literally it. Like that's it. That's all their thing is. They want to be a strong trainer.
Remember when you have the intimate like fireworks moment with what's her name?
Shauna?
Yeah, that's her name. I wanted to say Chantal for some reason. Remember when you have the intimate fireworks moment with Shauna, and then the butler gives you the TM for protect?
Solid.
I will admit, Shauna is probably the best written of the actual friends because she has story moments with the player character.
Shauna is easily the most memorable out of the 4 of them.
She doesn't get a whole lot of like screen time as far as battling, but like she's actually a character that's developed, and like she has doubts and tries to overcome those doubts. But like your opposite gendered rival, like they've done the whole like wanting to have a rival just be a strong character before with Charon, but he has a character arc. Your rival in this game does not have a character arc.
Every time you beat your rival, they just get depressed and you feel bad for them because it's like, sorry that you suck, but...
And then the next time you see them, like, they're just back to normal. Like, there's just, hey, let's fight.
Let's battle again, and then they lose, and they're just like...
Oh, damn, man.
They do that,
Way to go. Nice battle.
Yeah.
Good battle.
These are the most underdeveloped, undercooked rival characters. Like, some people they dislike other rivals, and that's cool, but like these characters, I tend to forget that 3 of them even exist sometimes.
At the very least, Brendan/May from Gen 3, they might not be the most well-written or written characters period, but at least they have some memorable battles.
They have a character arc too. They're like, I'm trying to become stronger, and then I decided I don't want to actually be stronger. I just want to work with my dad.
I can remember their storyline.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you anything about Trevor.
Yeah. He literally just has a bowl hair and like it just like, oh, how many Pokédex entries do you have? Oh, I didn't know you had that Pokédex entry. Like, that's literally his whole thing.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. So yeah.
What were they thinking, honestly, making 4 rivals?
Well, they had to top Gen 5 where, you had...
There was 3, yeah.
There's 3 rivals, so...
And
what's one more?
Okay. I guess that's true.
Here's the problem with that, though. X and Y have 4 rivals, and you could put all 4 of them together, and you would maybe get 1 decent rival out of it, when the last game had 3 decent rivals.
Yeah. The last game had 3 really solid, Black and White
rivals.
1 had 3 really solid rivals.
Yep.
And then Black and White 2 had 2 really solid rivals with Hugh and Colress.
Yeah.
Like... Shit, man. What happened?
Anyway.
So, yeah. And then the last thing I want to talk about with X and Y before we split up and do like our little house cleaning and then go talk about Or-Ass. There is a decent amount of... Or-Ass.
Talk about Or-Ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, more ass.
There's a decent amount of like stuff you can do on the side in this game, although it's kind of underwhelming what you have access to. So like, I did mention a couple of those things, but there's like a battle chateau that you can go to at some point where like you can challenge trainers who like spawn every several minutes, and you can like build a rank up, and you can eventually challenge gym leaders and even Elite Four members and even Diantha The problem with that, though, is that none of them even have teams that are as good as the one fight that you had with them in their main like spot in the story. Because the gym leaders only ever have 2 Pokemon, the Elite Four only have 3, and Diantha has 4 Pokemon in the Battle Chateau. They do not get better teams. They can I think they do end up with higher level teams, but their teams are not nearly as fleshed out, so it doesn't really matter. You have a Battle Tower-esque battle facility with the Battle Maison, which I always forget actually has like a facility like boss. I always forget that they have them because they're like the most forgettable bunch like yet. Like there's like 4 girls and they're all like different colors and they're all like supposed to be like in some like French inspired outfits because obviously this is based on France, and they're like one for each different like battle mode, like single, double, multi-battle, and like I forget their names. I don't remember them very well at all. There's a friend safari. That was actually a kind of cool thing where like you could connect to your friends and like they would have different types of Pokemon that would appear. And if you collected a bunch of them, you could have like different Pokemon appear that way that were like not in the regional decks. Okay. There's a looker side quest in Lumiose City where you go all over Lumiose City, which is a fucking headache because everything looks the same when you go in the outer ring. And you have to go in these little alleyways and you have to track down the remnants of Team Flare. And then you go after the admins who I keep forgetting even exist. And like you're basically like taking apart Team Flare's remnants. I forgot that was even a thing. For a while, for a good long while, I forgot that was even a thing that you could do. There is a rematch against your rival that you can do daily where they have a decent team for post game, but that's pretty much it. Besides what I already mentioned with Mewtwo and Zygarde, who Zygarde, the developers themselves, said could go fuck off. So, there's also a legendary bird that is whatever beats your starter based on type, and they roam around the region, but they're not a regular roamer. When you run into them, they just run away and they fuck off, and you have to do it like 10 times. And then eventually, they just go fuck off to another cave, and then you can go to that cave and catch them normally. And I've never done that in my life. I'm not gonna lie. I've never done that even once in my life yet.
It's not.
And I'm the big Pokemon fan out of the 3 of us. Like,
it's just,
I've still never done it.
It's not worth it. You
It's
can
not.
get a fucking Articuno in like every other game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, you can get them in the next generation very easily, and that's on the same system. So, yeah. So that's pretty much X and Y. Do you guys have any
Overall
final
thoughts
on X
I-
and Y?
I want to give a few more like quick fire pros and cons to these games because I do have some good things I want to say about these games real quick. What the fuck is it Pokemon Ami? Is that what it is?
Pokemon Ami,
Yep. Pokemon Ami is really nice for raising friendship. Makes it super easy. I think this game has a really good implementation of EV training. What is that game mode called again?
Hype. I think it's just called. It's super or hype. I think it's super training. Yeah, super training.
Super training. Yeah. Where it like just makes like EV training like super easy, and you can get like the exact EVs that you want, no problem. And I'm like, oh shit, like I could like get into competitive battling through this. Now that EV training isn't a fucking slog. So I thought that was really cool. Plus with having Talonflame with the ability Flame Body making eggs hatch twice as fast is extremely nice.
Yeah, they have a lot of new quality of life improvements to make like better Pokemon easier to get.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think of other good things to say.
There's nothing else.
I think there's nothing else. Okay, things I don't like. The frame rate in this game is awful, especially in battle.
Especially if you have the 3D slider turned on. This was the only generation out of the 3DS games where they bothered to do it, and the next games they just you can't even have the 3D slider effect on.
They didn't even bother.
Because if you turn on the 3D, it chugs.
chugs like a damn train.
And if you're playing the base 3DS and it like does like the camera thing where like it splits and shows both Pokemon at the same time, oh god, I pray your
system off.
I pray your 3DS does not just crash.
Okay, the pacing in this game is abysmal, and I noticed this on my very first playthrough of the game, where like you play a little bit of the game, you get your first gym badge, and then like you do 6 hours-ish of gameplay before you get to gym 2, and then it's just gym, game over. And it's like, why the fuck is there this giant gap of space between the first 2 gyms of this game? It makes no sense to me. You go through like 3 or 4 different towns to get to gym 2.
That's not even the only time that happens, because they also like split gym 7 and 8 up and off a ton.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you have to do the Team Flare stuff, which we've already talked about is pretty damn underwhelming already. So it feels like there's a slog between gym 7 and 8 too.
Yeah, I mostly just remember it from the very beginning of the game because it left like a very big impression on me when I first played it. Like, why are they throwing all of this content into the game like between gym 1 and 2 when they could have like spread this out, you know?
Yeah, like people complain about people complain about the opening of like Sun and Moon like being a bit of a slog, but like I at least have a decent enough time getting through the intro hours of those games where like if I can't get through the opening hours, the first couple of gyms in X and Y, if I can't push myself through it, I'm probably not completing a playthrough of that game.
Yeah, it's a slog, honestly. In a game that's like very easy too, so like that says a lot.
Any more pros and cons?
Mega evolutions in general are very cool. I like the idea of giving Pokemon, like older Pokemon, a new form that makes them better and with, you know, to keep up with the power creep of stats.
Go Digimode.
Go Digimode. That, I think, is it. The music is kind of whatever, and this I think is the first time in any. It's probably up to this point the weakest music in any Pokemon game.
It's not bad, but it can be pretty forgettable.
Yeah, like not bad by any means, but just like the fact that it is so forgettable is just puts it below everything that came before it. And that's it.
So things I like the Kalos region decently. Like when you take the whole pacing thing out of the equation, like the region itself is pretty nice. There's a lot of different varied areas and places to go, and it's designed, it is like I mentioned earlier in this podcast, it is more of like the classical style region design where everything is laid out in a very deliberate way. It's kind of, you know, linear routes, but like they kind of go all over the place. The way that they utilize HMs is not super intrusive, but it gives you stuff to do on the side because you can come back and you get a field move like strength or something, and then you can do more of that, this side area that's on that. And it's like a classical design element of Pokemon where like you have all these areas, and then if you go back with a different tool, you can access new areas that are, it's pretty neat. I like the fairy type a lot. I'm really glad that they introduced the fairy type. I think the fairy type being introduced, having 18 types, having something to kind of balance one overpowered type and another underpowered type with poison out is pretty nice. I like that this is the generation where they started just doing like straight up like large scale like balancing with like moves, because like they started like changing a lot of moves to like make them not super strong and super spammable. Like they lowered the power of a lot of stuff like Surf, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Blizzard, all that stuff. Like they lowered that a little bit. They tweaked some Pokemon stats and just like boosted some Pokemon to be a little bit stronger without giving them like a new form. Like Nidoking has better attack. They gave Butterfree, I can't remember if Butterfree got a stat boost in this generation or the next one, but like they started this thing where like they actually like do sort of like patches to certain Pokemon where they boost some of them, make them a little bit better. And thanks to that, there are some Pokemon that all they need is just like a little bit more oomph, and they can actually be a little bit better and more usable that way without having to like retool the whole fucking Pokemon. Mega Evolution is cool. I like the Pokemon and Me system just because it gives you a little extra level of interaction. Just makes it more like immersive to like interact with your Pokemon that way. And I like the character customization. Like the character customization, you get so many fucking options to dress up your character, and there's a lot of cool different like hats and pants and like like bag styles and everything. So like you can make your trainer look pretty cool. You get like different hairstyles and all that stuff, all this different cool stuff. So I like that. Stuff I don't care for. Jack mentioned it, but the pacing, we've already talked about the implementation of some of the new things that they tried to add is not really all that great. A lot of the writing and a lot of the characters just missed the mark when a lot of the previous generations did much better job with that. I already mentioned my distaste for how they implemented their large regional decks. It feels like it's just large for the sake of being large and using a lot of old Pokemon rather than make a really neat and interesting set of Pokemon that live together in a region. They're just kind of throwing shit at the wall and just putting stuff in there. This is definitely the first Pokemon game that really lacked like a lot of optional side content outside of the little routes that you could go, like the little side paths on routes that you could go to. There's just, you have Terminus Cave, you have that one city that has the Battle Maison and the Friend Safari in that same town, and like there's not much, there's really not much else. There's not, like, once you've been through the whole Kalos region, cool region as it is, that's it. There's almost nothing else to do, and that's like the first time that's happened since Generation 1. That's saying something. And then the last thing I dislike is something that we didn't talk about. As good as the graphics are for a 3DS game and for a Pokemon game, like the Pokemon models are very boring. Like they're all just boring, dull, idle stances. They don't have a lot of dynamicism. I don't know what the word is, but like they're not doing something like dynamic or posing. They're all just doing this basic idle breathing pose. And so like a lot of Pokemon just don't look as cool. They just don't look as exciting. They don't look as interesting. They don't highlight the Pokemon's personality as much as they could. There's only a handful of Pokemon that do have a decent animation. And like most of them, it's just whatever. And they stuck with this. They stuck with these models for this generation, for Generation 7, for Generation 8. We did not get new model changes for real until Scarlet and Violet actually started changing some stuff around. So we got stuck with this shit for like 10 years. So that's probably one of my biggest complaints with the game. So yeah, I have better things to say about Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, but we'll get there. Landon, how do you feel about X and Y as a whole? And then we're gonna take a quick breather before we jump back in. You know, you don't have the nicest things to say about X and Y.
Are you still there, Landon?
Did he freeze up? Oh, goodness.
He did. He said keep going, though. So we're just going to go ahead and do the housekeeping, I think.
Yep.
And we'll ask
just do that. We'll ask Landon his thoughts
after.
So, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/GamingStooges, and this month we are going to be doing a, oh god, this is going to look really weird on the VOD, but oh well. We are going to be doing a tier list of the Generation 6 Pokemon as well as the Mega Evolutions of previous Pokemon. We haven't done it quite yet, but that will be our Patreon exclusive. But we want to give a special shout out, of course, to Al, as he has been one of our biggest supporters of all time, every day. But thank you for everybody that supported our channel. As a Silver Stooge, you can get access to polls that we sometimes lock to just the subscribers. You'll be able to help us decide the direction of the content for the channel. There's also perks with the shout out that I mentioned if you're a Gold Stooge. And the Patreon exclusives are, of course, for Silver Stooge or higher. So if you sub to just the $3 tier, a month, you can have all this cool backlog of stuff. We've done a lot of stuff at this point. We've done like tabletop campaigns, we've done tier lists, we've done weird like other, like we did a bracket for like Mario platformers recently. We did like a draft to like decide like the Game Boy games for Game Boy Mini sort of thing. We did like recommended PS3 games. We do a bunch of like cool bonus stuff. We have a Twitch, as we are right here doing it live. If you're listening live, twitch.tv/GamingStooges. We are currently in the middle of Spookfest, which means that everything that we're doing is some sort of like horror or spooky themed game. Jack, you are currently playing Metroid Zero Mission.
Correct. Just started it last week, and by the time this goes up, we'll be 3 streams deep. Assuming nothing goes wrong.
Assuming nothing goes
wrong. It's been fun so far.
I am playing Silent Hill for the very first time. Silent Hill's been quite a bit of fun. Jack's actually joining me as a navigator using a guide for me. He started with the second stream. We're actually pretty deep into the game now. Jack mentioned that the guide we're following, we're basically right around the halfway point. So I'll probably end up doing bonus streams to do like a New Game Plus run to see if we can get like one of the kookier endings, since Silent Hill games are known for that. But I will admit I'm a little bitch baby, and there's quite a few things that have disturbed and spooked me so far already. So I'm having a good time with it. I'm actually really glad I finally started playing them. Landon is currently taking a hiatus because his game that he's been streaming recently, Dragon Quest IV, is taking the month off and is going to resume back in November. So yeah, there's that. We have a Discord server. The link is in the description down below or to the side or wherever this happens to end up being. And so you can, join us if you want and discuss all this cool stuff. Landon is back and he has something.
I do. I am back. And what I have tonight will surprise you. Ready? You ready for this?
Food.
It's Panda Express.
Panda Express.
That's so interesting.
Wow.
You know what else I have, actually? All right, you ready for this?
Spoon.
Ready? Lego Game Boy. Wow. All right.
Lego Game Boy. Wow.
You know what else I have? You know what else? Boom. Here we are. Finally got to the bit. You know what? The internet might die one day, just like it did for me earlier in this podcast. But you know what won't die? I hope Tillamook Creamery.
You hope Tillamook Creamery. Landon, I did want to ask before you died, what your final thoughts on Pokemon X and Y specifically are. I know you don't have the best things to say, but I still want to hear your thoughts.
Oh, amazing. Wow. This is fucking great.
That's not how you feel about X and Y. I know that's for sure.
No. Tillamook Mudslide.
Tillamook Mudslide is great, amazing.
Pokemon
you only
X
have
and
to
Y.
share You only have to share your thoughts on that, and you can go right back to eating your ice cream.
I have very quick thoughts. Pros. You can get Bulbasaur, Dunsparce, and Shuckle. Easy. And I like the character customization. Cons. Literally every other aspect of this video game. Bar none. I can't think of another good thing about this video game. I did not care for this game during my first playthrough. Other people did, and then they changed their opinion later.
I think I just kind of soured on it over time with multiple playthroughs.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem with X and Y is like, I mean, there are some people that see it right away, like Landon. He even when we did our 2013 year in review, he was pretty bearish on this game back then. I was somebody that like I liked it when I first played through it, but then on repeat actual playthroughs, like I realized that there's like there was less and less for me to love about the game. There's still plenty for me to like, but like I'm not going to lie, and this is our segue into Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. This generation is the first generation where it is decisively, in my opinion, being held up not by the core games that came out for it, but the remakes of a previous generation that came out in the same generation.
I'll say this one thing. I think X and Y are my least favorite Pokemon games. I don't think they're necessarily bad video games.
Yeah.
They're pretty down there, in my opinion, but there's definitely many video games I would rather not play and be forced to play X and Y.
If like most Pokemon games are at least like a 7 or an 8, and then there's a couple that are like a 9 for you, like X and Y is like on a good day like a 6, right? It's like it's average to maybe up to all right?
Like we're talking like 5 to 5.5 range, honestly. On a good day, maybe a 6. It might eke out a 5.9.
I can't blame you.
Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire came out the following year in 2014. It came out the same day as Smash for Wii U, by the way. And because of that, it was the first Pokemon game I got since Pearl version that I did not get on launch day because I had to choose. I did not have enough money for both, so I chose Smash because I was doing a Smash party. I got Alpha Sapphire the following week. But those came out, they're remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, and they not only remake, but they flesh out the Hoenn region story. Like, you have new stuff like the soaring mechanic, where you'll, at some point in the game, you'll get a Latios or Latios, and you'll be able to just fly around the Hoenn region on them in order as a nice substitute for like the actual fly HM if you want. There's a bunch of bonus like legendary Pokemon hunting you can do in the post game. There's obviously the implementation of pretty much all of the mechanics and stuff from previous games is brought over. You have a new storyline in the post game centered around Rayquaza and Deoxys, and it gives more lore to the Mega Evolution. Yeah, there's more lore to Mega Evolution in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire than there is in X and Y. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
And then as well in the Hoenn-based games, you've got there's an expansion of the Team Magma and Aqua plot a little bit. The admins have a much more defined and fleshed out role as subordinates to the boss of the team. The bosses also have more unique designs to differentiate them because they look a little like too similar to the rest of their team design wise anyway in the originals. So like they just kind of given the more distinct look to them. And this game does do a thing where it's a little more handholdy in parts where like in the originals, you were just kind of left to explore the region and like find your way around. There'll be points where like an NPC, like a major NPC character would be like, hey, I'll bring you to the next destination. Because this is a 3DS game, they also had to like break up the route so that like the loading wasn't like sacrificed. So they have like fade outs where like Ruby Sapphire, you could like seamlessly go around the region. That's one kind of downside. They heavily expanded Mauville City. They just decided, oh, this game needs a giant city because the last few games did. What do? Let's just make Mauville gigantic. So they did that. And it's like a big indoor mall type of like giant city sort of thing. It's weird. It's interesting though. They do incorporate story into that because it's the Electric Gym city and they have a power plant right nearby, so it's justified how they do it.
R.I.P. the Mauville Game Corner.
Yeah. And they also like flesh out the design of the Elite Four. Like they give more like striking like aesthetic to like the different rooms for the Elite Four. But it is pretty much for the most part. It is Ruby Sapphire, but you've got a little bit of expansion to it. There is like a resort island that it's basically like the placeholder for like the post-game city from X and Y, but like they made a Hoenn version of that with like the Battle Myson and everything. Unfortunately, they did not bring back the full Battle Frontier. Ripperoni for that. Oh well. So they did, unlike Generation 3's remakes of Red, Blue, and Yellow with Fire and Leaf Green, add in like extra Pokemon that are connected to species from the Hoenn decks and allow you to like utilize some new Pokemon there. And there's some new Mega Evolutions that were introduced just in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. And another thing about Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire that they did more lore-wise than X and Y did, one of the mythicals, Hoopa, that was introduced in this generation, actually gets implied story lore in this game because the bonus like legendaries that you can catch are all inside of rings, which are from Hoopa. Again, why does this game have better lore of the shit that was introduced in this generation than the games they were supposed to be tied to? Anyway, yeah, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they're remakes. We've talked about remakes before in the generations where those applied to, with Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Fire Red, Leaf Green. Oh yeah, they expanded on Wally in this game. Wally's a bit more prominent as a rival. He gets to utilize Mega Evolution. He shows up at least once or twice more than he did in the original game. Oh, and they also expanded your other rival because you get to do a final battle with them after the Pokemon League Challenge where they utilize like a more full team and they have a Mega Evolution for their starter. So you get a little bit better closure with your rival in this game. Yeah. Al mentioned that the Hoopa movie sucked, and yeah, that's another thing. It's not game related. We won't talk much about it, but the movies in this era, yeah.
I don't think I've seen any of the Gen 6 movies, and I'm not in a hurry to.
The anime I've heard itself is really good, but the movies are... But anyway, back to the games. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, what was your guys' experience with this game?
This was another midnight release for me. I bought this alongside Smash for Wii U. I spent a lot of money that night. I also got a GameCube controller adapter. I got a new GameCube controller. I got a Marth amiibo, and yeah, I think that was everything. But either way, I got Omega Ruby midnight release. I wouldn't end up playing it right away just because of Smash Ultimate coming out the same day, or Ultimate Smash for Wii U. But yeah, that was pretty much my launch experience for this game.
Landon?
I did work for GameStop at this time. This was the year I worked for GameStop. I'm trying to remember if I worked the midnight or if I did
I feel like I remember you did, but it's been so long I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I did, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, I got Omega Ruby, and I played it. So there's that.
Yeah. We talked about a 5 to 5.5 out of 10 game. Now time for the 7.8 out of 10 game.
Fair. Yeah.
Too much water.
So, I think there are things about this game I do like as a remake. I think as a whole, I think it's, to me personally, I think it's a weaker remake than the previous two. Leaf Green and Fire Red. I don't
disagree with that.
And Heart Gold, Soul Silver, I think are stronger remakes. And if I'm going to replay a Hoenn game, I'd rather play the base Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I just don't like the 3D, like, as when they went 3D, like, I really fell off. There's Sun and Moon, is like the one thing where I'm like, oh, like I'm still fine on. And this is another one that I'm like, this is upper in that list, but like I think it's a weaker remake overall, especially when you compare it to the behemoths that are the previous two remakes.
Yeah, I will say that as much as I do enjoy Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I wouldn't play them over the original games, and I think it has more to do with the engine they were built on than anything.
100%. 100%.
Because like you have Fire Red and Leaf Green, which was a Gen 1 remake on the Gen 3 engine, which was phenomenal. And you have Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which, you know, a Gen 2 remake on the Gen 4 engine. And while Gen 4's engine wasn't perfect, it's still, like, perfectly serviceable for, like, a Pokemon experience. And it didn't hinder the overall, like, I guess, experience of the, like, remake compared to the original. And I would choose Fire Red and Leaf Green and Heart Gold and Soul Silver almost every time over their original games, whereas I'll play Omega Ruby every once in a while, but I'm going with the original Ruby Sapphire Emerald every time over these.
Yeah, for me, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I think that as far as content, they're better than the base Ruby and Sapphire easily, but like we talked about the like how Generation 6, like X and Y had bad pacing, and that design philosophy bleeds into Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and ruins the pacing of a game that had good pacing already. So like the pacing is still better than X and Y, but you have shit like the Lati interruption after Gen 5, even though it's really cool that you get access to soaring, and soaring is like one of the coolest things they've introduced the entire generation to fly around the region. It's just a random thing that they just threw in there that just like breaks up your whole exploration. And the Marvel City segment, like, because they expanded it so much, I feel like that's kind of, they did it, that kind of like,
it just kind of halts
it kind of hurts
the pace of the original game.
Yeah, it kind of hurts it. Like, yeah, it's cool that Marvel City's expanded, but part of Ruby and Sapphire's whole thing was that it was supposed to be a more nature-themed region with Hoenn, and it's supposed to be more like a lot of the settlements are smaller. There's, you know, Marvel City's like a larger settlement, but it's still like not like super built out like a Saffron City is in like Kanto, for example, or Goldenrod City is in Johto. That was the point. And they took that point and chucked it out the window because they needed a big city, because they've been doing big city things in previous games. So they kind of ruined that there. And Landon had, I don't remember if he heard me mention this, but like the whole thing where like, because it's a Gen 6 game, they have to break up what were seamless routes before and just like make everything like kind of, it's clunky. The game's clunkier than the base games that they were built off of. Like, the content is great, even if it doesn't have the full Battle Frontier that Emerald did, or a couple of the little post-game things that Emerald did, like the Mirage Tower to get like the other fossil and stuff like that, and like the Ditto Underpass. Like, it doesn't have all that cool stuff that Emerald added, but like it builds on Ruby Sapphire, adds a bunch of cool shit, but the pacing gets ruined sometimes because of it.
This game, and I hate that literally no other game has ever, like, does not use this, especially Sun and Moon, is the area nav, specifically the Pokemon tab, where it shows you the silhouettes of all the Pokemon, is like probably my favorite thing that they add. It just shows you these are the Pokemon. If you've got it, it like shows it to you, and if it's not, it's like it's just a blanked out silhouette.
You don't have to go into your Pokedex to find them, and the stuff that you can find through that can sometimes have like special moves that they would never otherwise normally have because they're like egg moves. So like you can get like some cool shit, and it's way more convenient, right? Like,
and
the
it
way
shows
that they
you when
fleshed
you're
out the Pokegear, not the Pokegear,
the
the Pokenav.
Pokenav. Yeah, and it shows you when the route is complete and everything. So like it is like for someone who likes going through, especially for like new Pokemon. At this point, like there's too many returning Pokemon in a lot of games, so I usually don't. But like for a lot of like newer-ish Pokemon, I like to like collect the Pokedex if I can. It was great. I loved it. So it's like there. This is a game I enjoy like way more than the like Cloud said. This game is definitely like carrying this generation. Although
Yeah.
I would argue, Super Mystery Dungeon is the top game of the generation. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly just talking about the core games.
Yeah, for
like,
the two core games, this is definitely it.
And
yeah,
I mean, we also got some like cool new characters like Zinnia in the post game story. Like that whole like antagonist role that she plays is pretty great.
For the Delta episode stuff.
Yeah, the Delta episode as a whole was really nice addition. Like the Delta episode is like something that if you're gonna play through Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, like the Delta episode, Wally and your rival having expanded story, like that is what you're going to play the game for, because a lot of this stuff you'll get the same experience from just playing Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And Emerald also has some stuff that these games just do not have. So like it is definitely one of those games where like I put them most of the time I put a remake slightly above like what the base games are. But in Pokemon's case, and especially in this game's case, it's like it's about as good as Ruby Sapphire, but for different reasons. Like it does some things better, it does some things worse. But it's already a solid foundation, which makes it immediately better than X and Y right from the start. So we did get some cool new Mega Evolutions though, because like we had one for Blaziken, but they gave one to Swampert and Sceptile.
Good Pokemon from this generation as opposed to a bad chicken.
I believe that Altaria's Mega Evolution was added in this game, not in X and Y. I think
Altaria's Mega Evolution was added in this game, yes.
What are some other Mega Evolutions that were like added in this game over the other one? Glalie?
I'll go through it. Beedrill,
Metagross?
Pidgeot, Slowbro, Steelix, you mentioned the starters, Sableye, Sharpedo, Camerupt, Altaria, Glalie, Salamence, Metagross, Latios. They were coded in X and Y, but they were not available until...
Yeah, they were not implemented until this game.
Yeah. Rayquaza, Lopunny, Gallade, Arduino, and Diancie.
Yeah. And you know what's wild to me?
And then the
that,
primals.
Like, one of the things that we complained about, which was lack of implementation of the Mega Evolution mechanic that like was a big thing for Generation 6. They did not do enough of it in X and Y. They did a much better job in this game. Granted, it's still not used a whole lot until like later on in the game, but the game is also balanced more because you still only have like the 200 and some odd Pokemon of the Hoenn Dex. So by the time you get to Mega Evolution, that is when you'll finally be getting stuff that would be strong enough to fight against it. But you get the evil team leader gets theirs as well. You've got every Elite Four member in the rematches, not in their original fight, but in their rematches, every Elite Four member gets a Mega Evolution. Wally gets a Mega Evolution. As we mentioned, he has Mega Gallade. You have your rival, like I mentioned before, when you get to do the post-credits battle with them, they get a Mega Starter. So like they implement the thing that like most people were most excited about much better in this game. You had the Mega Salamence fight with Zinnia, where you get to use Mega Rayquaza. Like there's the primals with Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon, which I will say the fight against Primal Kyogre to catch it, because obviously I wanted to catch it, but having to catch it while it's a primal and killing my team was one of the most exhilarating Pokemon boss battles I had the entire 3DS era. Like it was the best battle I had at that point since Generation 5. Like nothing in X and Y came close. And like I was replaying, the Hone games obviously, so I'd already been experienced with all the stuff that was originally there. But that primal fight, oh, that's some good shit, dude. So like,
it's a good,
yeah.
It's like
This game has some good stuff.
Going up against the primal is really good. I like the primal Groudon fight. So yeah, I agree with that, and I like that Groudon got the fire type from his. So
like, now he can actually he can actually like make better use of the sun by getting. So he's like on the same footing.
He's at least getting a stab for a lot of like, because he could use like Fire Blast and junk. So before, but yeah, he can actually really use the sun mechanic. Oh, I guess Eruption, because they gave him Eruption as a move as well.
He's had that,
or that was something he had, but yeah. So Eruption like becomes a stab move, which is really good. Lava Plume as well. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then one thing I like is that they like so in the post game when you can get all of like the legendaries by doing like the legendary hunting, they do have some version exclusives, and some of them are actually like tied specifically to like better line up with the version exclusive. I mean, it was already like a thing based on like which version you had anyway, but like you get like Ho-Oh in Omega Ruby, which plays well with Primal Groudon. And then if you get Lugia in Alpha Sapphire, that plays well with Primal Kyogre because it uses the rain better. So like it's just really cool how like they just like had all that figured out. Like Reshiram and Zekrom, same thing. Reshiram is in Omega Ruby. It's a fire type dragon. So
the one definite thing that is an improvement over the original games. You can catch Feebas in this game. It is possible to actually catch it.
It is not a total fucking pain in the ass.
It is not undoable, finally.
That, and because of the fact that this is now a game that is tied to your system clock, you don't have to worry about like the time-based events like just kind of frying because of a dead battery in the Generation 3 games. Like Shoal Cave now operates as intended, and the evolutions are now easier to get.
You don't have to get random YouTube comments on your Let's Play of Pokemon Emerald.
Yeah, to this day, still our most watched video.
Shout out the Shoal Cave video, Pokemon Emerald Part 30, baby.
Yep. But yeah, it's just a good remake. Not necessarily replaces the original game, unfortunately, but it does enough that it's like it's worth playing and it holds up this generation. Unfortunately, it's carrying that generation on its back. So yeah, Generation 6. Just in summation, definitely the first generation where we're just not super thrilled about it compared to the past 5 generations, and that's kind of be a trend going forward where we're not all going to have universally good things to say about the next generations. But that's for next season, that's for next year, where we'll talk about 2 more generations. Yeah, so Landon, do you think we have time to just go around the room real quick and do some catch up?
Sure, fuck it, why not?
All right, Jack, what you been up to these past 2 weeks?
Hi.
Gaming related or other?
I've had a little bit of time to play Persona 3 Reload. I've been trying to with like the little bit of time that I have, but I've been really busy lately. I've been going all the fuck over and having shit to do every night. The only thing I have to say about my recent time in Persona 3 Reload is I fucking hate Suimitsu, the gourmet king.
Oh yeah, dude, he's so annoying.
He's so annoying. Like, I'm just trying to plow through his social link so I can get it done and out of the way, but like, he is like, him and Kenji are the 2 worst social links. They're both so annoying for different reasons. Let's see. Aside from that, it's been 1 week since you looked at me.
You haven't played anything else, really?
No, not really. I haven't really had time. I did buy Galaxy 1 and 2 at GameStop the other day, so hell yeah. I'm getting my copy of Pizza Tower next week.
Oh, cool.
For Switch.
You've been waiting for
I just got my shipping notification for it today. Let's see. What the fuck? I know, like, generally what I did in the last 2 weeks. Let's see. I had a pretty big weekend where I had like 3 shows in the span of 5 days. It wasn't really just a weekend. I guess it was like a weekend plus Monday and Tuesday. But I had a show on the 3rd, a show on the 5th, and a show on the 7th. I went to see Anamanaguchi again. The shirt.
Wearing the shirt.
Great fucking live band. They're so fucking talented, and their music, like, they put out an album this year that's like very different from all of their previous material. It has like vocals, and it's like a more traditional rock album.
I don't even know them that well, but I know that they don't usually do that. So I'm like, what?
If they've ever done vocals in the past, it was from a guest vocalist or Hatsune Miku.
Exactly.
So
like that, like I've never heard vocals from them.
No, it's really good though. I love their new album. It's like very different from their usual sound, and also kind of not, because it still has like the chiptune incorporation in addition to like the just regular rock sound they're going for. Then shows? A couple days later, I went to go see a nice quick 2-band bill of 2 psychedelic rock bands, one Population 2 and Frankie and the Witch Fingers. The reason I couldn't be there for the first Silent Hill stream,
okay, so that was
which was also a fantastic show. And Landon said he gave me the pass for it because Frankie and the Witch Fingers sounds like a spooky name, and it's Spookfest.
But
so,
you, in order to get the pass, you had to have live stream it and put it into Cloud's Spookfest.
That's true.
The
problem is that Cloud's Spookfest stream finished before the show started.
Oh,
so
then there was no reason for you to have missed the stream.
It was 3 hours away from me.
Could you imagine
your laptop and your mic?
just chill in the car.
I don't have a laptop.
Just chill in the car, pull out your freaking mic, and just like set everything up in their car, and just do the stream with me real quick, and then go inside.
Should have bought a laptop.
Anyway, the other show that you went to, you had the third show.
Just yesterday, I went to go see Magdalena Bay down in Indy, and it was a fun show. They have just a couple of albums out. It's pretty, like, I wouldn't say straightforward pop music. It's very different and very kind of like, I wouldn't say like internet centric, but it definitely has like an internet like aesthetic to it, like kind of old school Windows type shit. But it's very fun, and they were very good live. So that's pretty much most of what I've been up to lately. Still watching through Dragon Ball Z. We like just got to the start of the Cell games after like around 7 or 8 episodes of filler. So getting into the good shit. But that's about it.
Does she know that Gohan is the true champion?
She has predicted several different things, but I don't think she said that Gohan is going to be the one that finishes him off.
Okay.
So it's going to be fun to see that play out.
Yeah.
All right.
She really likes Gohan, though. Like, she's all about like his whole character arc and how he's grown since the beginning of the show.
She's gonna hate. She's gonna hate after he goes ultimate.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they build him into a great character from the first, like, you know, from the
200 episodes
up till Cell. So I'm wondering how she's gonna feel after that.
I think he's fine. As a quick side tangent, I think he's fine for the start of the Buu saga, but he just drops off after Buu just absorbs him because...
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
So for me, I haven't done anything like super interesting outside of gaming the past couple of weeks, unlike the last time when I mentioned like watching like the Yu Yu Hakusho live action. This time, I'm pretty much just all games. I had mentioned I had started and gotten pretty deep into Earthbound. Well, I beat it pretty quickly after that last episode, and it is definitely one of my new favorite Nintendo games that I've ever played. I don't know how high up it is there, but it's just such a weird experience that like if you're like a big Nintendo fan and you like RPGs, like I feel like Earthbound is a game that is definitely something that should be experienced just once, even if you don't finish it. Just like play a bunch of it because it's unique. It's very unique, and I can't explain it in any other way. It's very unique. I liked it a lot though. I had a lot of fun with it. I ended up getting back to a barely started file and finishing the Final Fantasy Legend, the first one, which I talked about on the Game Boy Patreon exclusive that we did. I will admit it's super rough around the edges because it's a 1989/1990 Game Boy RPG. I am surprised though at how much I enjoyed it. Like it's rough, but like the character party compositions that you can do are pretty fun. The way that like your characters get stronger are based on like which race you pick, and like the monsters get stronger by eating the meat of stronger monsters. They become a new species. They don't actually like level up stats or anything. They just turn into something better, which is interesting. Like by the end of the game, Jack, who was my designated monster, was like an Iron Man class, and he had like a move that could like do fire against everything, and he had 2 different abilities that made him resist like basically every form of damage. So every form of damage only did like half damage to him comparatively, so he was just a tank. Landon and I were both fighters, but we went in slightly different directions, where I was more like just kind of focused on just like using swords, where like Landon would have like different weapons depending on the occasion that I needed. Eventually though, I just stuck Landon with the broken ass glass sword, which was supposed to only have 1 use but had a bug and has 50 uses, and it's one of the best swords in the entire game because it just does obscene damage. So just Landon was just smacking the final boss with that shit over the head, and honestly did the work. Allison was my 4th unit, and she was a mutant called Esper in the Japanese version, basically your like mage character. So they get like their own like abilities that are like spells, but then they also have some slots for other things that you can put on them. But like half of those are like locked to like their whatever like random shit that they get, because they'll get like they're the one that actually gets like stat ups depending on how when you do like finish fights. Sometimes stuff will like randomly change around. They'll get stronger. They might get a new ability. Sometimes the new ability isn't good. Sometimes it is. But like they're the one that actually improves based on just battles. The fighters that get stronger if you like buy items that improve their stats. So it's interesting that like the different races get different ways of powering up. There's like 4 different worlds, and one of them is like based on the movie Akira. Like it's literally just a giant ruined future city, and you're like being constantly pursued by the monster that's like controlling that entire world. Pretty cool. But it's interesting. It's like the script is really bad because it's a 1990 translated into English RPG. It's very basic, but it gets the job done. I thought it was a pretty fun time. And then after that, I decided I thought I was going to get into Phantasy Star 3, but then I decided I want to play Mystic Quest, like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, which I had started before several times, but I was having issues with accidentally overwriting my save on the Retron. So this time I just decided, okay, I'm just going to put it on my my analog pocket, and I'm actually farther than I've ever gotten. I'm on the last Crystals dungeon, the Kazuzu's Tower for the Wind Crystal. So I'm basically going to be finishing that tomorrow. Then I'll probably play Phantasy Star 3 right before Pokemon Legends ZA comes out. We'll see how that goes. But Landon's also been pressuring me because I just got the Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 in the mail today. And I'm really excited to play Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel because I did play the Trails in the First demo. I played through
Trails
that.
in the Sky, first chapter.
Trails in the Sky, first chapter demo. And I enjoyed that. And then other than that, I was just been playing more Hot Shots Golf. There's still so much I have to unlock in that game. But that's basically it. So yeah, just a lot of different games, but I'm just working through my way through everything that I can until Pokemon Legends and Dragon Quest come out, because once those games come out, I am probably going to try to focus on nothing else. Those are the games once they come out. So we
Trader
the cat for the listeners. Landon
Trader
has a cat
recently
named Trader.
celebrated his birthday.
He's
We love him.
16.
He's 16.
Aw.
Trader's 16 years old. He's an old fucking man.
Get the
He's an
fuck out of
old
here.
man. We love him.
Get out of here.
I love Trader.
All right, I got rid of him. Don't worry. He's gone
Well,
forever.
You can talk about what you've been up to now, besides grabbing Trader and celebrating his birthday.
I mean, that's about it.
You've
I
been
got
taking
sick
care
over
of
the
2
weekend,
Yeah.
so that was cool. And so did the girls. Felicity got sick on Friday, and then Linnea got sick on Monday, so that was cool. Literally, like maybe 30 minutes after the Silent Hill stream ended, I was
which one,
covered
the first or the
in
second one? You said
the second
Sunday?
one, Monday.
Monday. Okay, so the second
Monday.
one, yeah. That's right.
So yeah, about 30 minutes after that, I got covered in vomit. Like she just
Ugh.
started like projectile vomiting. It was gross and nasty.
Ew.
Ew.
I am sorry for that for you.
Yeah, it was really cool. Trader just scratched me.
Ow.
You put together the Lego Game Boy. How would
I
that
did.
go, actually?
Well, that was the last thing I did before I got sick, so that was sick nasty.
It did come out really nice.
It did. I like this thing. Lego Game Boy, it feels nice. It almost feels like a real Game Boy, honestly. Like the cartridge slot isn't quite as big. We learned that before we started this today.
Yeah, he tried to he was gonna put in an actual Game Boy cartridge and it didn't fit.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun to make. This is the first Game Boy, or not. This is the first Game Boy. This is the first Lego product I have purchased since, I believe, the fall of the Bionicle.
Wow.
That's a long time. And like now I'm like, okay, do I go and try and get like a secondhand or NES? I don't really care. I would have proposed to you guys a quick question. Is there a video game console or handheld that if they put out a Lego version of, that you would buy?
I think I would probably do one for the Game Boy Advance. Because I have, as much as I did grow up on Game Boy Color, like the Game Boy Advance was probably the handheld that was in my most formative years. And like whether it's the Game Boy Advance SP or just the regular Game Boy Advance, that'd probably be more I
think it would be,
do.
if they do one, I think they would just do the regular Game Boy Advance, like the Atomic, like the purple.
Yeah, I feel like that would probably be one that I would maybe think about getting, because like, yeah, I have a lot of fond memories with that one.
Jack, do you have an answer to my question?
I would probably get like a GBA or a DS Lego, like a fat DS. I think would be pretty cool.
I think the real answer, and you guys just got it wrong, it's a Game Gear. They need to do a Lego Game Gear now.
You're so right.
Yeah, so there
Now
we go.
hear me out. Lego Virtual Boy.
Lego.
I have yeah.
Watch them do it.
I'm not. I'm not saying no.
That would be really weird.
I'd be more inclined to buy that than the $100 peripheral.
Yeah.
From Nintendo. I'll say that. Anyway, so stuff I've been doing is
Trails in Sky first.
I have been playing a little bit of Trails in the Sky, first chapter for the Nintendo Switch 2. I put quotes because part of me is like, it's not really a Nintendo Switch 2 edition because it's a $1 upgrade.
Like, it's technically it's weird. It's like, It's closer to like the updated Nintendo Switch games that got the free upgrades, because it's like there is no Switch 2 version, right? It's just like the Switch 2. Oh wait, no, there is a Switch 2 version, but it's Game Key card, right?
No, there's no Switch 2 like.
Oh, I'm thinking
anything.
of a different. I was thinking of a different game that they're coming.
You're thinking of Trails Beyond the Horizon that comes out next year. Yeah.
So yeah,
that one will have a Game Key card.
Yeah. So it is closer to the Switch games that have Switch 2 upgrades. So
it's like basically it's like Pokemon Scarlet, but I had to pay $1, but they changed the title screen to show Switch 2 edition because they can get away with that.
Funny. Hey,
yeah,
I guess they can.
It has a $61 like digital version, and I'm like, okay, so anyway, I'm playing the Switch 2 edition. And I'm almost done with chapter 1. I am right before you go to the final dungeon where you go and fight the Kapua family, the Sky Bandits, where you fight all 3 of them. So I'm right before that, but it is really hard to play my Switch 2 when it is outside of arm's reach, and I have at least 1, if not 2 babies dead asleep on me. So I decided to buy Balatro on my phone, and
you've been playing that.
I've been playing Balatro.
You were also trying to play Balatro a bit on your Switch, because I remember seeing you log in a few times, but I guess that didn't really pan out because, again,
it's just really hard to play. Like, if this is not within arm's reach, and I try to keep it within arm's reach, it is somewhere on this couch, but if it's not like literally I can just like reach and grab, then it might as well be in a different county.
Is the Balatro on the phone the way that you've been able to like do a bunch of like, because you said that you've been able to like clear some runs that you haven't been able to get to before. Was that on your Switch 2 or was that on the phone?
Oh yeah, so I had mentioned on the Discord I cleared some gold stakes. That was all on the Switch. So yeah. The phone one is mostly for fun. Is just like me just like doing stuff because I'm addicted to Balatro. This is probably the most time I've put into a roguelite. I think the next closest is probably Into the Breach, and then probably a large jump, and then Dead Cells, and then a large jump, and then Slay the Spire, and that's probably about it. This is the most fun I've had with a roguelike game. And then I did play a little bit of Luck Be a Landlord, which is basically another deck builder roguelite, which is sort of the inspiration that Local Thunk got to make Balatro, but instead of like a card game, it's a slot machine. So you pick the things that are in the slot machine, and you basically just get money each round, but the things interact with each other. So like there is a flower icon, and then if you get a bee icon, those interact to give you more money. And then you can also get like a beehive icon, which like interacts with the bee. And then you can get like a raindrop, which interacts with the water. Or you can get like a dog that interacts with like humans, or like a dwarf that interacts with like beer. And sometimes it'll destroy an icon, but that'll give you more money. And so like there's like a bounty hunter that'll kill like humanoid characters. It's kind of weird. And then each like after a certain number of spins, you have to like pay your rent to your landlord. So there's usually $1 amount.
I was wondering where the whole title of this game came in.
Yeah. Okay. So that's like you basically, the story is, hey, welcome to the apartment. In order to pay your rent, you have to spin the slot machine. You have X number of spins before your rent is due. So like the first one's like 5 spins and you owe 30 coins. And then you have like 12 rounds of it where it gets progressively like larger dollar amounts. But sometimes they give you more spins for each like round. And then after 12 you beat the floor. And then the landlord goes away, and then you can like try the next challenge of like harder difficulty stuff. It's interesting. I definitely like Balatro more, but I think there's something far more practical in my mind about like math. Is just like this times this gives you your score, and you can do some outrageous things with like that with Balatro. But you know, that's that. It's just the difference to me. Plus, it's like pretty easy to pick up Balatro because it's just like poker hands, and like even if you don't play poker, you know, 4 of a kind, straight.
Yeah,
5 of a
just
kind,
on
royal
like
flush.
on concept alone, like I'm not into those games, but like Balatro at least sounds more like enticing to like try out, because it's like, oh, it's like poker, but there's a bunch of weird things that like you can do with it. Whereas like with like saying like the way that you explain Luck Be the Landlord, it's like, so it's slots.
It is slots. So I mean, if you, I've had some fun with the day I was like playing with it. But if you don't like slots, yeah. So there's that.
So yeah, that's everything.
I
Was there
watched
anything
The
else?
Killer by John Woo. Excellent movie.
Hell yeah.
Have you seen that, Jack?
No, I have not, but I'm aware of its reputation.
I definitely recommend it. It's a really good. It's a Hong Kong film. John Woo's a Hong Kong director. Excellent action movie. The ending's very sad. I'll say that. Yeah, I watched it on Criterion. They have a Hong Kong action like playlist, and then they also have just a directed by John Woo playlist. So some really good
They
stuff.
need to reissue that one. It's out of print right now.
They should.
It's in the collection, but it's like was only ever put on DVD, and it's not currently in print.
They should do a Blu-ray and a 4K.
4K.
And
they really should.
They really should. Here we are. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh,
all right.
Portland Retro is going to be happening the weekend that this goes live, so look forward to listening to all the things I'm buying but never going to play. Next podcast.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, this was our Generation 6 Pokemon episode. Hopefully you don't end up stuck in the original form of the Kalos region back on the 3DS anytime soon. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it at that. Let's roll the outro, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Fuck X and Y.
Crap shit Pokemon X.
Fuck that shit. Stinks. Thank you for listening to the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. If you enjoyed us, consider subscribing to our podcast RSS feed or follow us on youtube.com/GamingStooges and twitch.tv/GamingStooges for more gaming content. If you'd like to chat with us, join our Discord. The link can be found in the episode description. We also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. Your continued support means a lot to us. Not already one? Please take a look at what we have to offer anyone who becomes a patron at patreon.com/GamingStooges. See you next time.